Alrighty. Jaguars, Titans. Trevor Lawrence, can he pull off a game-tying drive to send this thing to overtime? Dropping back to throw, now he's going to run it himself out across the 30, hit and dropped at about the 32-yard line, and it's going to be second down. Do they try to get a playoff before the 2-minute warning? It looks like they will not. And so we go to the 2-minute warning, and here is the scenario that we are left with. This has been a crazy game. Jaguars start with the lead 13-7, but the Titans score 21 unanswered points. Like, how do you do that if you're the Jaguars defense? I don't even know. Then the Jaguars score a touchdown, get an interception, drive all the way down the field to the 1-yard line. Trevor Lawrence, 4th and goal, tried to QB sneak and was stopped short of the goal line. So now they have to go down the field again with 2 minutes left and no timeouts to beat the 5-11 Ryan Tannehill-led Tennessee Titans. If the Jaguars win, they win the division, get the number 4 seed. If they lose, Texans win the division, and the Jaguars are out of the playoffs. Now, Texans are in the playoffs no matter what. They will either win the division or they will be the wild card. But the Jaguars cannot be the wild card because if they lose, they'll be 9-8, and the Bills, Steelers, and Texans already have 10 wins. So they are not going to make the playoffs unless they win today. They have to win this game. It's a must-win, and they're losing. I thought the Jaguars were going to win. I thought Trevor Lawrence was going to play well. You know, he was healthy. He was back. Instead, he threw 2 picks and kind of is a big reason why his team is losing this game. I thought he was going to take the next step this year, and maybe I was wrong. But here's a chance for him to prove this is why I was the number 1 overall pick. This is what I can do. This is what I am in big moments. This is who I am in big moments. We saw the comeback. We all watched the comeback against the Chargers last year in the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence can play well in big games, but he also can play poorly in big games. And he seems like a little bit of the time when the pressure's on him, he struggles. He falters up when the bright lights are shining the most. So I'm very interested to see how this drive's going to go. Can they score a touchdown? Then they have to get the 2-point conversion. Then they'd have to go to overtime. So if we go to overtime, we'll have a second video. But this is the first video, obviously, to react to this final drive of the game. And it looks like we're going to be back in pretty soon. Oh my gosh, this commercial's taking forever. We're back. All right, we're back to the action. Jaguars, Titans, playoff clinching scenario for the Jags, but they need to tie the game first. They're down by 8. Here we go. Jaguars fans, they want to see a win, obviously. I want to see a win because I picked him to win. I picked him to win the division. Lawrence is in shotgun. Sends his receiver out of motion. 2 receivers to the left side. Lawrence. He's ready. He takes the snap. He drops back to throw. He throws downfield, deep, open. Oh, and he overthrows his man. Oh, that would have been incredible. Calvin Ridley was open downfield, and Trevor could not hit the open man. Look at this. Ridley had to dive for it just through his hands, and that's the type of throw where you're thinking to yourself, he was drafted to make that kind of throw. Open receiver downfield, and you miss him. You know, that's why Trevor Lawrence was drafted to this Jaguars team. He's a number 1 overall pick for a reason. He was supposed to be a unicorn. He was supposed to be Peyton Manning 2.0. Peyton Manning 2.0 would have made that throw. Here he goes again in shotgun. 3 receivers this time to the right side, 1 to the left. Lawrence going to throw again left side, and this time out of bounds. Pressure was on him, and now it's 4th and 2. They might not even have a chance to get into scoring position. What do you do here? Do you run the ball or do you pass it? Again, you know, you have to think you're going to put the ball in the hands of your star quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, a number 1 overall pick for a reason, but he has struggled so badly today. 2 picks, missing guys. You have to wonder, do you hand the ball off? Here he is again, shotgun, so they're not going to hand it off, I don't think. Again, 3 receivers right side, 2 to the left. Etienne, I believe, is at running back. And now a timeout has been called. A timeout called by the Titans. Obviously, if you're Ryan Tannehill on the Titans, you got to be proud of the way you played today. He's thrown 3 touchdowns, had a really nice game, and this might be his last chance to be a starting quarterback. He started, I believe, 7 or 8 games this season, but he obviously got hurt, and then they kind of just rolled with Will Levis, but then Will Levis got hurt, so they had to go back to Tannehill. Who knows what his future is? I think the Titans are planning to have Will Levis as their opening day starter next season. He was a second-round draft pick. I think they want to see what they can get out of him. They want to see, is this guy going to play a role in our future? Obviously, Tannehill, 34 years old, not really going to be a role in their future. So he is playing what may be his last start with the Titans, or even his last start of his NFL career, depending on what job he can maybe get. But he's played really well today, so congratulations to him. Now here they go. Same position as last time. Lawrence shotgun, gonna throw, and it's overthrown, and that's the game. Trevor Lawrence is not going back to the playoffs. And that's the type of play where I am just baffled that Lawrence even tried to make that throw. That's kind of a bonehead move, and if you're a Jacksonville Jaguars fan right now, you have to have a little bit of doubts right now about your franchise quarterback, because Trevor Lawrence, in the biggest game of the season, played his absolute worst. I mean, look at this. What's he trying to do here? I mean, he threw it like out of reach. Like not even close. What are you doing, Trevor? What are you doing? How do you miss that throw? That is not a number 1 overall pick throw, and that is especially not the next Peyton Manning type of throw. That is not a good. I mean, I don't know. I'm really starting to be concerned about Trevor Lawrence. I thought he was going to take the next step this year and be an MVP candidate. Instead, he got worse. His team got worse. Now they're not going to be in the playoffs. And I don't know what you do if you're a Jag right now. I don't know what you do in the organization. You have the weapons. You've got him weapons. You have a good running back, Travis Etienne. I guess the what you should do is continue to beef up that offensive line, continue to beef up that defense that gave up 28 points today. Obviously, not all their fault. Trevor Lawrence turned the ball over multiple times, and that's on him. Those turnovers are on him. Maybe you look to coaching staff, maybe a couple coaching changes. I don't think Doug Peterson's going anywhere, but maybe some coordinators. Maybe the defensive coordinator needs to change. Maybe the offensive coordinator needs to change. I don't know, but something is going to have to change in Jacksonville after this, because you had the team, right? You were the young team. You were the team that everyone thought was ascending. You beat the Chargers in the playoffs last year. You made it to the divisional round, played the Chiefs tough. Everyone thinks you're on the up and coming. You got this young star quarterback, and all of a sudden, now the Texans are the up and coming team with C.J. Stroud in your own division. Now the Titans with Will Levis have a young rookie quarterback who's played pretty well this year. Now the Colts just went 9-8 with Minshew, and they have Anthony Richardson coming back next season, so they are now all of a sudden a big threat. And all of a sudden, the Jaguars, would anybody be surprised if this team is the 3rd best team in their division next year? Would anybody be surprised if they were last place? That's a possibility. If Will Levis improves and the Titans, who are only 3 games worse than the Jaguars this year, it's possible that the Jaguars could be back in the basement of the AFC South as early as next season unless they start to change something. So what this game means, the Steelers have clinched the playoffs, the Bills have now clinched the playoffs, and the entire AFC is now set. Now the only difference is, will the Bills or the Dolphins be the 6th seed or the 2nd seed? So if the Bills win tonight, they'll be the number 2 seed. Dolphins will be number 6. If the Dolphins win tonight, they will be number 2, and the Bills would be number 7. The Steelers would get number 6. The Browns, Texans, Chiefs, who else? The Browns, Texans, Chiefs, and Ravens are all locked in to the 1, 3, 4, and 5 seed. So it's just the 2, 6, and 7. But we know which 3 teams it is. We just don't know which combination will make up the spots. Jacksonville, you will not be in the postseason. Maybe next year. Better luck. And good job to the Tennessee Titans and Ryan Tannehill in what might be his final game as a Titan. Congratulations on taking home the win. Wow. What an early window this has been. I'm a little disappointed because I picked the Jaguars to make the playoffs. I was hoping that they would. Obviously, they did not. So now officially in the AFC, I got the Chiefs right. I got the Bills right. I got the Browns right. And I think that's actually it. I think I will end up going 3 for 7 in the AFC, which is not very good. I missed on the Steelers, Ravens, Dolphins, and the Texans, the teams that I had instead. I had the Raiders in the playoffs. That was a mistake. I had the Jets in the playoffs. Rodgers got hurt. That was a mistake. But not really, because I think with Rodgers they could have been a playoff team. Bengals, not too worried about them. Joe Burrow got hurt, so I'm not very mad at myself for picking them. And I also had the Jaguars in the playoffs instead of the Texans, and we all see how that turned out. So, rough day for my predictions, but hey, you know what? I end up getting at least 5 right in the NFC, so that's good. Maybe 6, depending on how the Seahawks and Packers games turn out to go. But with that being said, this is Coast to Coast Sports. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Congratulations to the Texans being AFC South champions.